Welcome to LI on the Rise. This is all about people who are chasing their dreams, chasing success, and people who are on the rise. I'm C. Matteo.
And it is your boy Al Shep.
And today we have an outstanding painter. It's Nervis Paintings.
Woo.
What up, y'all?
Woo.
What is going
How
on,
you
bro?
doing?
Chilling, man. How we doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. So we have known each other for some time.
Yes.
And I've seen you dabble in a couple of different arts, and you definitely made a couple of transitions. Could you explain how those transitions went, how you went from one to the next to the next?
So, my best friend Mike, who you know, introduced me to like the first rep that I really was like, wow, this is unbelievable. Like, I connect so heavy with this more than I've ever connected with any type of music. So I wanted to start writing, and it started out with writing a little bit with him. He would write, and then like I would write also with him, just adding on to whatever he wrote. And then it started, I just started writing my own stuff. And then I got into beat making because I was DJing a while back, and I always wanted to like make my own EDM music. And so yeah, then I got into the hip hop producing, and I still dabble in that. Like, I still have all my equipment and all my records and stuff. I'm still sampling and chopping up. It's just not as frequent anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, I kind of fell off that because one of my old coworkers introduced me to spray paint and got me into painting on canvas. So once I did that for the first time in the summer, like I was outside and I just started spraying and I made my first painting, I was like, dude, this is so cool. I was like, I want to do this every day, like all summer, every day. And I did. That's what I did all summer. I just bought tons of paper and I bought tons of spray paint and just sat outside all day and painted. And I got, good at what I did and started doing like vending events and little craft fairs and stuff, and yeah, it just evolved from there.
When creating these art pieces, where do you find your inspiration from?
So I get inspiration from a lot of different places, like different sci-fi movies, maybe current, like older sci-fi movies, current sci-fi movies, current like the Marvel movies. I get a whole lot of inspiration from the Marvel movies and seeing all the planets in there. Star Wars, I get like Ralph McQuarrie's, all his old paintings and stuff like that from the original photo album. Yeah, it's just a lot of really old sci-fi. Anything sci-fi, and I can, find something that I could be like, oh, let me, twist that in my own way.
Find a lot of ideas from the sci-fi, the genre like that. And it's a really cool genre, to be honest with you.
Sci-fi, like pop culture and stuff, like anything. I do a lot of like superhero stuff. I do a lot of video game stuff. Like, I have a Pac-Man piece that's pretty popular and everybody loves that. So, I try to stick to, what people like once they see my stuff. Once it's done and they like it, I move in that direction,
I'm not going to lie. I creeped your Instagram quite a bit, and I looked at all your art. Great work.
Thank you.
Now, I just had to ask you out of this. What is the fascination with outer space?
I don't know, man. It really...
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. No, I do just stare at space. Like, I go outside and I'll just look up and stare at the stars, and dude, that's like one of my favorite things to do. And like, I've always loved doing it. I've always loved looking at things that we've never seen. Like, I can't see Jupiter or Mars or anything like that, right? But like, we've taken photographs of these places and like really detailed photographs, and they're unbelievable. They're beautiful. So that mixed with the fact that now I'm able to paint things that we have all never seen. Like, I paint planets that nobody has ever seen before. And that's cool to me, that I can bring stuff to the forefront that has never been seen in a painting. Obviously, it's not real, but, just the imagination is...
Would you say almost like the blank canvas of space is kind of like the blank canvas of your art?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you push that
Yeah,
onto
absolutely.
it in a sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to put it.
Cool, right on.
Yeah,
man.
like the unknown, the looking up and not knowing what's
Yeah.
out there, that is what I'm like, oh, I'm going to paint that.
Bro, that's sick. I love it.
Thank you.
Do you think mind-altering substances increases a person's creativity?
Yeah, I do. I don't think it works for everybody. I think that already creative people, when they use psychedelic substances like that, I definitely think it opens up a new window for them to be like, oh, that's a new way to look at the world. Like I said, I don't think it's for everybody. I don't think that everybody should just be doing psychedelics. That would be insanity. Like, literally people running around doing insane things.
Because everybody's tripping on acid.
I could not imagine. But yeah, I do think that already creative people, if they do use psychedelic substances the right way, yeah, I think it can totally, open up that window.
Spray paint art. Not too many people may not know as much about it as some of the more mainstream art forms.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just do a little bit of an explanation on what spray paint art is about?
Yeah, so the fundamentals of spray paint started with graffiti art, with doing tags and doing, murals and stuff like that. And I am super envious of people who can do that, because it is a super talented art form. Like, the control that you got to have with the can is unbelievable. But yeah, over the years it just transitioned to being able to warp smaller amounts of paint into different patterns and different textures, and on, canvas and on paper and stuff like that. So that's just, where it came from. And then the space aspect of it, because the space thing is a very popular, like, that's not just my thing. Everybody who really does spray paint art, as far as I've seen, uses space, because space and spray paint it works, dude. It's just really easy, because you got something that's round, going over some crazy looking texture, and it looks like a planet once you take it off. You know what I mean? Like, even if you weren't trying to make a planet, it looks like a planet. There's nothing you could do, So just running with that and being able to take that into your own style that's a whole nother part of it. Like, you got to take it into your own style. You can't just be ripping people off. It's the same thing with rap. Like, you can't be biting people,
Yeah. Hell yeah. So what would you say is the hardest part about doing the spray paint art?
The control. Learning how to spray paint, because like,
half the battle.
Because as easy as I think it is, when I try to show people how to do it, it apparently is very difficult for people to understand that you have to spray lightly. Like, when I say spray lightly, they don't know what spray lightly means. You know what I mean? They're like over here going, psst, and I'm like, oh, dude, no, like, that's way too much paint.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Seeing that makes me think, oh, okay, maybe only some people get it. You know what I mean? Like, get the control aspect of spray paint. But I don't know. I feel like it's just something that you could learn. Like, if you just pick up a spray can and you just play with it for a little bit, you know what I mean? You learn, when I spray a little bit and move my hand this way, you learn certain things. And
patience is a virtue when it comes to spray paint art. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can you explain what a Munoz stock is?
Yeah, so Munoz stock is an annual event where they have, it's more punk music based, punk rock music based, which is great. Like the bands are fantastic. But it's sort of kind of like Scene La Scene. It's just a once a year thing where they have a bunch of vendors and they have like a food vendor and they'll have raffles and giveaways and stuff like that. And like I was doing live painting at Munoz Stock and that like sort of drew a crowd because it was a tighter space and it was outside. So everybody was just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, whatever." And I did get a couple of people who came and watched me. So that was really cool. But yeah, Munoz Stock is great. I'm excited to do it next year if they ask me to come back.
Sweet. Next year in the summer?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep an eye out, big
Keep
time.
an eye out. Show up.
Now you were just mentioning like between like the suburban area of New York's of Long Island to like the hustle and bustle of the city, more or less.
Right.
Now, in your opinion, how do you feel about the art scene on Long Island compared to like Brooklyn and the city and places like that?
It's a good question. Especially because I just was a part of the Brooklyn scene for a night. Like I just experienced that whole thing at that art exhibit. So what I see in Brooklyn is more or less museum-esque style. Like it's called salon style. So like you'll go into a room and it'll be more or less like this. All the paintings will just be hung up and you can come in and they got free wine and they got free drinks and everything and whatnot. And that I don't see out here. I see more interaction out here with everybody, with bands, with networking. Like the networking in Brooklyn is a little bit different, I feel like. I feel like not many people come up to you and chat with you. I'm not one to chat, so I do sort of take the responsibility on that end where I don't really network well. But like on the other hand, for the people who do network well, it's like, why didn't you network with me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, here on the island, that's like not a problem at all. You know what I mean? Like I'll just sit at my table and I'll have people come up to me and be like, "Oh, hey man, like let me talk to you about this," or "Let me talk to you about this." And then we just get on a conversation about what they do. And then, I've had like collaborations come about where people just come up to me. And,
just walking by?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty sweet.
Guys, we have reached a segment that I like to call Face Your Facebook.
Uh-oh.
And this is how it's going to go down. I have a couple of Facebook statuses that you have made this year.
Okay.
I'm going to go through them one by one, and I just want you to go a little bit more in depth on what you were trying to say and the meaning behind it.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Didn't think you were expecting this, were you?
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it up.
Your first status says this: I want to illustrate a book with my paintings.
Oh, yeah. So, wow, yeah. That is something that I want to do. I want to illustrate whether it be a children's book of some sort or any sort of space-related, like, sci-fi novel. Like, if I could do that, like, that would be really cool. I would like to be able to illustrate with spray paint. I think that would be neat. I saw the idea on Instagram. One of my inspirations, actually, keeps posting paintings that he's like, "Oh, this is for an upcoming book." So I'm like, "Oh my god, like he's doing a book. Oh shit, like yo, I could do a book. That's a crazy idea." So like, yeah.
So each painting would be like a page to the book.
Right.
Sick.
Yeah.
Anybody writing a novel out there? We got you, man, right here for the illustrations. You know what I'm saying?
Hit me up. Let's talk.
Your second status says this: what makes astrology rational? And you have 18 comments on that. Can you discuss what that conversation was about?
So, for a long time, I was not even following. It's funny. This is why I say what I say here. I wasn't even rationally following astrology because there is a way to follow astrology. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I'm not educated on astrology. So I just want to put that out there. I'm not educated
Do
on
not
astrology.
roast him in the comment
Yeah, like,
sections,
I'm not
please.
educated. To me, I just don't think that you can rationally say that astrology makes any sense. And astrology in the sense where you could say, like, you know, the stars are right now telling, you know, predicting this whole entire, like, the scenario is written in the stars. I just don't, or that my personality is a certain way because of when I was born in relation to where the stars and the sun were. I just don't understand that. And the reason that I don't understand that is because a lot of people use constellations. This is just one aspect of it. A lot of people, sorry, I gotta be talking to the mic. A lot of people be using constellations to justify things in the sky. Constellations aren't really there, though. Like, they're only there because where we are in relation to the universe. So, like, if you go out in space, these constellations really aren't there. The stars are just precisely placed in these areas, and we put the names on those things. Like, we created that and said that that is that. It wasn't like that's not like a fact. It's not like a scientific fact. That's a fact that we created. So I can't rationalize astrology.
So you would say astrology is irrational?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
You're not
make
going
any-
to fly into space and there's not going to be a label that says this is the Big
This
Dipper.
is right, or something that says this is Orion or something
Yeah.
like that.
Check out his belt.
Right.
Moving on to the next status. And yo, I love this status, man.
All right.
I'm rocking with it.
Cool.
Sometimes it's good not to rush things. Things that have a place will find their way there with time. Do you believe, are you trying to say that life just kind of works itself out?
Yeah, so I think that when you get into one of those moods where you're set on doing something and you're super determined in that moment, right? If you fail doing whatever you were super determined at doing in that moment, it's like really self-defeating. You know, where you let's say, you know, I had a plan to like drop an album at the end of this year, right? And I had that plan at the beginning of the year. That was like my goal, was like, all right, at the end of this year I'm going to have an album and it's going to be done. If I don't get to that thing by the end of the year, to me I'm crushed. I'm like, damn, I didn't do what I wanted to do. That sucks, and now I'm going to give up. And a lot of people do give up on what they're really determined in doing. I don't think that it's as simple as that. I don't think that you do things right on the first time every time. I do think that there are exceptions to the rule where some people, you know, do get it right on the first time. You know, I definitely didn't get my paintings right on the first time. Definitely not. But I worked at it, and I worked at it, and I worked at it, and with time it came, and now it's smoothing itself out. So I really think that it's just time. You have to give whatever you are determined to do time. Everybody is so like, once I have the idea in my head, it's like, okay, now if I don't get the idea out of my head and into reality right now, like, now what? You know, like, what's going to happen? What do I do? And everybody's got these, like, I'm going to speak this into existence. I'm going to speak this into existence. Now, I don't really know if I rock with that. Because, like, you guys are just talking. You're just saying stuff. You're not doing anything. You have to do the stuff to make the move. Like, you can't, playing basketball, you can't want to cross somebody up and then a cross up will just happen. Like, you gotta cross them up. Like,
yeah, exactly. Execution.
That's just the way it is. You know, but it's time. It takes time. It's patience. Everything is patience.
So we're going to hit your last Facebook status, and the status goes like this. What are some TV shows you'd like to see me remake with spray paint? Now, a couple people commented some suggestions, and without looking at your phone, I want to see if you can name all of the suggestions that you got.
God, I definitely cannot.
Oh.
If you can do it, I will give you $20.
Oh my God, $20.
Yeah, I got them all written down. There's 6.
Oh shit.
I just want to let you know, I'm not giving you $20. No. Just
Oh my God.
Just go for it, man. Shoot your shot.
Damn, what?
Shoot your shot.
I'm trying to think, because I feel like I remember who commented on the photo, on the status, but I can't remember the shows that they were telling me. I feel like somebody said Saved by the Bell,
No.
but I'm probably wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong. Did somebody say... Nobody put any cartoons on there, right?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh my God, no hints at all.
You got 10 seconds. No.
Shit. Yo, pass, bro. Can I pass? I don't know.
All right, you want to hear them?
Yeah, I
Here
do.
were all of your suggestions. Chowder, Gilligan's Island, Rick and Morty, Twilight Zone,
Okay.
Power Rangers,
Okay.
and Frasier.
Frasier. That was the one. Yo, that
What?
one.
Who's
That-
saying Gilligan's Island and
that
Frasier in
one-
2018,
That one
man?
and Gilligan's Island. I was like, dude. And I think that those were Max. I think Maxwell Peters commented Gilligan's Island and Frasier. I think.
Does he want Cheers,
but
too?
yeah, dude, like I can't. Max, I'm sorry, dude. I can't paint Gilligan's Island and Frasier. That's just way too hard.
If you want just a Gilligan, he'll do a Gilligan. Like,
Now, the island wall, we're going too far. Nah, but the other ones, those are pretty good suggestions. I mean, I do the Rick and Morty ones already.
Is there any you would take?
Yeah, I mean the Power Rangers one seems like a pretty cool idea. Like I could do something with that.
Dude, I feel like the Chowder one would be sick,
Yeah,
bro.
like Chowder. You know, people love the silly cartoons and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So.
and also, too, Twilight Zone. I feel like that's right up your alley.
Yeah, with the
You know, the
moons
mystery
and, stuff.
and
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, definitely relatable.
Frasier, I don't get it.
Me neither.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Get it.
I don't. Gilligan's Island, don't get it either, man. I'm sorry.
Now, prior to you getting bombarded by your Facebook posts that you thought you'd never have to see again, you were talking about like an art gallery and stuff like that. Now, can you explain to a little people who don't get what an art gallery is, what that's all about?
Yeah. So, like I said before, it's like salon style. So salon style means, it's just pictures hanging up everywhere, like just how these posters are hanging up. This is sort of salon style poster work. So that's really what the gallery is. You would drop off your pieces like a couple days before and give them time to set it up, and then you don't see the gallery until the night of. You walk in and you go around looking for your pieces, and you're like, "Oh my God, where's my stuff? Did they steal my stuff?" Because like I didn't see one of my pieces right away at first. But yeah, dude, it's really cool, man. The sheer amount of talent that was all over the wall was crazy. Crazy. There was so many different styles. There were so many different mediums like people were using. There were other people that like utilized spray paint in their pieces just differently. People who use like glitter, oil, acrylic. Like this one girl made a sculpture out of mirrors, like broken mirrors. And then like painted in one of the mirrors and made it like 3D. Dude, it was really cool, man. Like that's the one thing I have to say about Brooklyn is, bro, like they bring the talent out there. Like they got a lot of really talented people out there.
So, in the arts, who are some of your biggest idols?
Oh, wow. You know, that's a funny question because this is going to sound funny.
I'm ready.
This is going to sound funny because as a person who loves music and old school music, I love classic hip hop. That's my thing. Hearing a lot of the new artists say that they don't know any of the old rappers is, dude, it's hard.
Hits me right in the heart every
breaking,
single
bro.
time, dude. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
But that's like how I feel about art, because I don't really have anybody artistically that is like an idol to me. I mean, So Ralph McQuarrie, I hope I'm saying that right. Ralph McQuarrie. He was the original artist for the Star Wars illustrations. So he was like the conceptual artist behind all the ideas behind Star Wars. A lot of his work is like super inspirational to me because like it really matches the style that I shoot for. And it also has a sort of style that I could go towards also. So it's something that it's something that I do and something that I can also get better at because he's also just adding stuff. I mean, he's dead now, but he's not adding stuff. He's got stuff in his paintings that I don't, that I can add, you know what I mean? And I can learn how to do, and it's just different style. But yeah, Ralph is really great. There's a lot of like not really well-known spray paint artists.
Do you have any like musical inspirations too? Like, because I know you're talking about old school hip hop. Who are some of those guys that you look up to?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a huge Doom fan. I love MF Doom. MF Doom is the reason why I got into writing.
Oh wow!
Like just listening to him rhyme, I was like, wow, that's a kind of flow that I'd like to have, or that's a kind of skill that I'd like to have, is being able to rhyme like that. The way that he constructs a bar is next level, dude. It's unbeat. I love Doom. I love Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang is for the children.
Oh man,
For the
I knew
children.
you were gonna say it.
For the children.
Rest in peace, OD.
ODB. But yeah, RZA was a big inspiration for beat making. He was like the reason why I got into boom bap and all that. Like that simplistic, just boom, boom, like that's like my favorite style of music.
And he has a real intellectual mind too, just like yourself.
Yeah, so like he was big for my introduction into hip hop, like the hip hop culture. Because when I was working at my old job, my old foreman Al, if you're watching this,
Big shout out to the foreman
Al.
Al.
Yeah, Al, it's my bro. He really got me onto the Wu-Tang wave and like the Mobb Deep wave and the Nas wave and all that. And yo, like that sort of way of thinking and almost being ahead of your time was really inspiring to me. You know, like Wu-Tang and RZA was way ahead of their time. Nas way ahead of his time. That's super inspiring. It makes me want to think. Makes me want to think and pursue the questions that I have in life, you know, which is cool. I never thought that music could do that for me. I never thought that music would like transcend music.
Beautiful.
You know.
Dude, I love everything you got going on, man.
Thanks, man.
I love how you hopped from passion to passion to passion, and you kept going.
Thanks,
and you
man.
finally found your thing. Not that the other things weren't your thing, but I feel like you're way more connected to this,
Right.
and you definitely got a stronger drive for this.
Right.
Where do you see this all going for you in the future? Where do you want to take it?
So hopefully, like I said before, I want to start doing bigger murals. I want to start doing like real graffiti work.
How big we talking? How big we going?
Like big, man. I mean,
You're trying to do a wall.
yeah, I'm trying to do a wall, man.
Gonna Banksy it a little bit?
Yeah, maybe.
I see you.
We'll see.
I see you.
Throw some stencils in there.
You never know.
But,
Coming
yeah,
soon.
no, that's a goal, man. Is doing big murals, getting into graffiti art, you know, perfecting that style. Because, you know, not that I've perfected this style, but I've definitely got it down to a point where, like, if I stopped for a little while and did something else and went back to that, it wouldn't hinder that skill at all.
I seen this random thing actually of this artist in Australia that like he painted like this. He did in chalk this thing on a bridge, and then he left it there, and he thought it was gonna get washed away, and then it didn't get washed away. And somebody that walked by, literally was like, "This is sweet," and he put like a wax coating over it, so it never.
Wow. So
and
now
yeah,
it's just
there
there
forever, and like the town leaves it there, and everybody loves it.
That's cool.
Maybe that's what you got to do.
Yeah, man.
Get a little wax it over. Or
Yeah,
something, you know what I
man.
mean? Because we want people to see that forever.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
absolutely. I don't want it to go anywhere.
Sorry. Now, we were talking before the interview about like today's culture and stuff like that. Now, do you think that today's culture of instant gratification kind of like takes away from people actually appreciating the arts? Because everything's so in their face now.
Yeah, I don't think that people have enough time to take in what they just saw before something else gets thrown at them. I think everything is so fast. I think the fact that, like, I was watching something on the guy who invented the scroll, the infinite scroll for the internet, and he regrets it completely because he's just like, it's now unlimited information consistently. So now you don't have to stop scrolling. You can literally scroll forever and you'll have infinite information. So it just desensitizes you to information after a while. Like, you get new information, you're just like, whatever, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. You know what I mean? Our attention spans are literally so short. It's insane. And yeah, I do think that that definitely depreciates art in a way, and all types of art. I think music the same. You know, I think that the fact that, you know, people like 6ix9ine and Lil Xan and all these people can get recognition off of what they do so fast makes people who are good at their craft be like, what the, you know, like, why am I doing this? Why? Why am I doing what I'm doing, and why is what I'm doing not working? So now you gotta, you know, now you have to devalue what you do to showcase what you do to other people, because that's the only way that people will take it in. If it's just quick, it's got to be quick. Yeah. It can't be something that you got to dive into. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't put out 36 Chambers now. You know what I mean? Because people wouldn't listen to it. Nobody would listen to it. Nobody would understand what they were talking about. Nobody would care to understand what they were talking about. I was looking at the preview that you uploaded for this on Instagram, and I saw that Dice was saying something like, you know, for LI to be on the rise, like, you have to want to be on the rise. And I sort of take the same stance on this issue, is you have to want to understand it. So, like, when I look at a piece of artwork, I want to understand what these people are thinking and doing when they make the artwork. So, you know, I'll ask them questions. What were you thinking? What was your inspiration? Or, you know, how are you feeling at this specific time? Nowadays, you just don't have that. You just don't have a lot of people asking people why they did the things that they do. You know, it's just, oh, you did that. Cool. I liked it or I didn't like it, and that's it.
Yep, it's all a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Right. There's no, you know, let's talk about what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
nobody wants any context.
Right,
is what you're trying
right,
to. Yeah,
because it might have had an impact. Like Wu-Tang's 36 Chambers. Like, that album had an impact on me. So
yep,
I wanted to talk about it with people. Like, I wanted to talk about it with my foreman Al, and I did. So that made 36 Chambers meant something to me already. But the fact that I got to talk about it and dive deeper into the album made it that much more special to me. You know what I mean? So now when I listen to that album, it's just an instant classic. You know?
Yeah. It's crazy to think, too, also, that some guy that created something so useless is sitting in his house thinking, what have I done?
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Like, that is a super useful thing,
right.
And now he is just thinking
He's
only
like,
negative.
Oh my God, like, what have I done? Because now people's attention spans are so short. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with news. Like, people,
it's like the butterfly effect.
Right. People are, like, desensitized to news, dude. You get one news article that's like something really terrible. You know what I mean? But then 15 minutes later, you get an even worse article. You know what I mean? And it's just a never-ending cycle of worse articles. And it's the same thing. It's a never-ending cycle of worse music that is just never going to stop until people ask, like, why are you guys putting out really bad music? Why are you guys putting out, like, really uninteresting stuff that is just so it's so surface level? Like, there's no depth to it. There's no there's just no thought, man. There's no thought. There's no thought needed at all whatsoever.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
You just got it all out.
Yeah, that was
but,
awesome.
But now we agree with everything that you're saying, dude. And like, you definitely got a creative mind. You got a lot of thoughts up there.
Thanks,
homie.
man. Thanks.
I think this whole thing has been a blast, man.
Hell yeah.
And before we wrap things up, where can people follow you on your journey?
So you guys can follow me on Instagram at Nervis Spray Painting. That's Nervis Spray Painting, all one word. On Facebook, I'm just Nicholas Angel Torres. That's me. You can find all of my stuff. That's like my personal. You can message me on there, and I'll get back to you. Twitter, Nervis Tech, NervisTETCH. That's my Twitter handle. You guys can follow me on there. I'm always active with my artwork on there, and I'm big in the art community on Twitter as well. So
Sick, man.
yeah,
Sick.
man.
Thank you for coming
Yeah,
out. I
thank
think
you
it's
very
been a
much,
blast.
man.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
having me. Thank you. I
Awesome,
appreciate
man.
it.
Thank you for watching this episode of LI on the Rise.
Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button.
And comment who you would like to see next.